Folks, welcome back to another episode of The Fallen Bad. Today, the murder of officers Jose Vega, Lesley Zerebny, Palm Springs Police Department, California. Officer Vega was 63 years old. He had 37 years with the Palm Springs Police Department. Now, he was married and he had 8 kids. Now, Officer Zerebny, she was 27 years old, and she had about 18 months on with the department. Now, she was married. Her husband was I believe he was a Riverside County deputy. I know he was the police. She also had a 4-month-old child. Now, on this particular day, October 8th, 2016, Officer Vega, he's working a little overtime. As with most police departments, Palm Springs was a little short-handed that day, so he said he'd come in and work. Now, he was still out in uniform patrol, and he's a far better man than me. I'm 62, and there's no way he'd put a uniform on me and have me tramping around in and out of a squad car. So I'd say that Officer Vega was better than the average bear. Now, Officer Vega, he had just put in his paperwork, and he was scheduled to retire in about 2 months. He was going to walk on out in December. Word was he'd already got him some fishing poles and fishing gear and all kinds of stuff. He was ready to enjoy himself, and with 8 kids now, there'd be a lot of good stuff to do. Now, Officer Zerebny, she had just come back from maternity leave, having that baby. And unfortunately, Officer Vega's not going to see retirement. Officer Zerebny is not going to get to hold her baby anymore. All because of some shiftless, worthless individual who is our suspect. It's so typical of that, seems like that age group just got both hands out wanting something for nothing. His own family was about tired of him. Now, on this particular day, resource material mentions a family member. Other resource material says it was the father. They went over to the neighbor's house. Daddy told the neighbor, said, "My son's acting crazy. He's armed with a weapon and he wants to shoot police." Now, the neighbor would later say, yeah, he came over there and said he needed help. She said, he told her, said, "My son's in the house, he's acting crazy, he's got a gun, he's ready to shoot all the police." She went on to say, he told her, said, "Yeah, he's inside right now and he's scared and he's acting crazy." Now, one of them brought up the fact they probably need to call the police. According to the resource material, neighbors had made this comment, and the daddy said, yeah, he already knows they're coming and he's going to shoot them. So now the neighbor said they called the police, and she went back in the house. Now, of course, you always wonder about the information. When you make that phone call to the police, that they tell communications everything. And the communications tell everything to the police. So anyways, first 2 cars show up, and that's going to be Officer Vega, Officer Zerebny. Officer Vega pulled up. He's just short of the suspect's house. Officer Zerebny, she pulls in right behind him. Now, they talk to, the resource material says talk to the parents, so I'm assuming that's Mama and Daddy they talked to. They sit outside the house, so I don't know if they were in the yard in front of the house or if they were next door to the neighbor's house. Now, the resource material further states that one of the parents gave the officers the keys to the house. Now, at some point, they asked for a couple of more cars due to the fact the suspect is armed. So the next car that pulls up, I believe in order, would be Officer Burton. He pulls in behind Officer Zerebny's squad car. And then Officer Vargas, he gets there, and I don't know at what point he got there, if he got there before the initial shots or after. And then Officer Flynn's going to pull up, and he's going to park on what would be the west side of the street, across from the other 4 squad cars. And I don't know if he got there prior to the shooting or not. Now, there's some kind of communications going on between the officers and the suspect in the house. And it was concerning enough that I believe it was Officer Vega had asked for some more cars. Because Officer Vega is old police, so he knows going to get some help, because this sure sounds like it's a bad situation. Now, the resource material mentions that Officer Vega was going to attempt, or was attempting, to open up the metal security door there at the front of the house. Now, I don't know if they could actually see the suspect or not. I don't know if he was standing in front of the window, if he had the wooden front door open and the officers could see him through the security door or not. I don't know if the gun was visible at that time. But all of a sudden, the suspect, he pulls up a weapon. Now, it's some kind of an offshoot of a AR-15. There's so many of them now, I don't know one from the other, but it's a semi-automatic rifle. And the suspect starts cranking off rounds. Now, resource material says that Officer Vega was wounded. Some of the material I saw indicates that he was hit by bullet fragments and possibly shrapnel from the security door, something. He gets hit, he goes down, he's able to get up and get back to the car. Now, when he got shot, I don't know if he was still at the front door or not. Now, Officer Zerebny, all I know for sure about her is that she had turned and was trying to run to cover, and she was hit, and she went down. Officer Burton, he's hit and he goes down. So we've got 3 officers down. Now, at some point, Officer Vargas is there and Officer Flynn is there. Now, Officer Vega is down, but he is not out of the fight. Now, he has, from what I understand from the resource material, he is taking cover behind his squad car. Now, he actually gets on the radio and advises he's going to put his AR into action. So he's going to get his rifle out. He's going to go gun for gun. Now, I do not know if they keep their rifles in the trunk or in the front of the car. But in any event, resource material indicates that Officer Vega, while reaching to recover his AR from the car, he's hit and he goes down and he doesn't get back up. Now, some officers on the scene. Obviously, the calls done went out now. We got multiple officers down. In fact, some of the transcribed communications indicates that they put out over the radio that they had 3 officers down. So officers on the scene, they're able to drag or move Officer Vega. They're able to evidently get him down the street far enough. They put him in a squad car and they go on and take him down the street to the paramedics, because they've already called for the medics to make the scene. Well, obviously you can't have them actually pull up to the scene and take fire. You're always going to have them to park down the street. So they drove him to the paramedics. Paramedics take him to the hospital. Now, this same group of officers, or officers on the scene, they're able to get to Officer Zerebny. They're able to get her out of the line of fire, get her into an ambulance, and they transport her to the hospital. Now, both officers get to the hospital and they're both pronounced dead. Now, the suspect, he stayed in the house for about 12 hours. They had the Riverside County Sheriff's, their TAC unit, their SWAT guys were there. They had the house surrounded. So this went on for a while because they have to go through a protocol. Now, I take it negotiators were talking to them. I saw some of the video where it looked like it was negotiators had arrived and were going into the big old RV that they use for a emergency response location. Well, anyways, they I hate to even call it successful, but they did talk the suspect out of the house, and he walked out alive. Now, my understanding from the resource material, the suspect was wearing body armor. I also understand that the TAC unit helped coax him out by popping smoke in the house, a little tear gas. Now, they went in the house and recovered the murder weapon. Now, the chief mentioned something, a couple of things. One was he was there when the Officer Zerebny's husband got there. He's in full uniform, Riverside County Sheriff's Deputy. Talked about him bending down and kissing his deceased wife on the forehead. Chief had also mentioned it. He said it was just a simple family disturbance. I've been on hundreds of family disturbances. I don't know if they're very simple, but I guess I know what he's trying to say. Whatever was going on, it sure didn't call for this suspect to take human life. Ridiculous. Now, our suspect was a gang member. Shock. Further shock that he'd done, according to the resource material, 4 years in prison for a failed murder plot back in 2009. He'd been charged with attempted murder. Of course, they pled it down like they generally do everything else. So he ended up taking an assault with a firearm and admitted in open court he was a gang member. And he did his little time. Now, the records also say, according to the resource material, that this same suspect had been arrested at that house 3 years prior. Says that it was a forceful arrest. So I take it the suspect resisted. Now, in May of 2019, the suspect was convicted of capital murder, and the jury gave him the death penalty, even though at this particular time the governor of the great state of California had put a moratorium on death penalty cases, which, of course, him saying that don't make it so, and that does not prevent a prosecutor from asking for it, nor does it prevent a jury from asking for it, nor does it prevent the judge from passing that sentence, which in all three cases they did their job. Now, I seriously doubt he'll ever see the death chamber for this, but he so deserves it. Officer Jose Gilbert Vega. Officer Lesley Marie Zerebny. End of watch, October 8th, 2016.